the despicable decision, Honorable Yoshinori Mizuno is the mayor of尾張旭, Japan. I would like to invite Honorable Yoshinori with us today, and you have 10 minutes, sir. Now, of course.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Yoshinori Mizuno, Mayor of尾張旭City. Before I begin my presentation, on behalf of the Japanese delegation, I'd like to say a few words of gratitude to you from all over the world. We are grateful from the bottom of our hearts to the great number of nations, regions, and organizations for their tremendous support in the aftermath of that earthquake and tsunami of the Great East Japan earthquake in March 2011. My presentation today is about practical disaster preparedness drills that we implement in尾張旭based on lessons learned from the Great East Japan earthquake. For your information, the character on the left of this slide is the city's mascot, Asabi. Asabi is modeled on a sunflower and will be with us throughout this presentation. Let me first give you an overview of尾張旭City. This city is located in the center of Japan, covers an area of about 21 square kilometers, and has a population of 82,000. The city is also blessed with rich greenery and has been developing as a satellite city. We strive to develop the city for the future with the slogan of尾張旭, a comfortable city full of greenery and vitality in which we all support each other. Japan is one of the most seismically active countries in the world and has had the great Hanshin earthquake in January 1995 and the Great East Japan earthquake in March 2011. And there are concerns over a pending magnitude 9 plus great earthquake, the so-called Nankai Trough massive earthquake in the central part of the Japanese archipelago, where尾張旭City lies. The Great East Japan earthquake was an earthquake of the greatest magnitude in Japan. The tremor itself and the great tsunami it caused damaged government office buildings and fire stations, among other things. Meanwhile, the heads and employees of municipalities themselves were significantly affected. All this posed immense obstacles to efforts to comprehend the scope of damage or carry out life-saving and relief operations for affected people. This experience taught us that both residents and administrative bodies need to improve the abilities to cope with unexpected situations. Our disaster preparedness drills before the Great East Japan earthquake had meager citizen participation. The participants, mostly city officials, who were informed in advance of the determined damage situation, would walk through scenarios to improve abilities to cope with unexpected situations. However, the city adopted a new spontaneous drill method without scenarios and with greater citizen participation. We introduced this spontaneous drill method in two ways. The first one is an annual joint drill participated in by students, private businesses, the police, and others. The spontaneous drill method offered insights into some challenges that were not understood before, such as the need for clearly defined roles of various nations so as to ensure efficient rescue operations and communication difficulties. Now I am going to share some photos from the General Disaster Preparedness Drill in August this year. In this photo, self-defense force officers are trying to rescue a victim from a vehicle buried in sediment. In this photo, firefighters are trying to rescue a victim from a collapsed structure. In this photo, doctors and public health nurses are triaging the injured. And this photo offers an overall perspective of the venue of the drill. Secondly, the spontaneous drill method was implemented in the form of city officials, emergency gathering, and initial response drills. For 2014, we implemented these drills on a holiday without informing city officials in advance of the date or time of the drill, the scope of damage, and others. We first informed the city officials about the occurrence of a major earthquake by telephone or email and instructed them to gather at emergency deployment areas. The drill provided opportunities to practice on setting up emergency response headquarters, grasping the scope of damage to the city spontaneously, and confirming priority tasks in the event of disasters. These photos are from the drills. This February, we choose to inform and instruct city officials to gather at emergency deployment areas early in the morning at 5:46. The footpath was beginning to be covered with snow, while city officials traveled on treacherous road. The participants, including members of the police and the self-defense force, summarized the information on damage and casualties that they collected spontaneously from various departments and posted it on a board for visualization. The second new initiative of the city is the citizen participation drills. In the General Disaster Preparedness Drill, teams of 4 citizens worked together to rescue victims trapped under collapsed houses using a kajak. We also had evacuation shelter management drills because citizens themselves would have to run evacuation shelters in the event of disaster. Both the citizens and city officials who participated in the drills shared the feeling that they identified challenges that they were not aware of before through this new initiative. We believe that the abilities of尾張旭City to cope with disasters will steadily improve if we continue to implement citizen-centered practical drills, allow them to identify potential challenges by themselves, and seek solutions to such challenges. We are proactive about promoting cooperation with other administrative bodies and private businesses. In addition to disaster preparedness drills, we work on disaster preparedness also by way of concluding agreements with private businesses on the provision of living essentials, signposting for evacuation shelters, and installation of vending machines that offer products free of charge in the event of emergency. Moreover, we have concluded mutual disaster support agreement with 3 local governments to enhance each other's disaster preparedness. As shown in this diagram, we have mutually supporting relationships with a great number of entities, including local communities, businesses, and other local governments, in order to establish a robust disaster preparedness regime. Moreover, to cope with unexpected situations, we take various measures to improve the abilities of both residents and the administrative bodies to cope with the unexpected and at the same time work on establishing mutually supporting relationships with communities and relevant organizations. The Japanese word Kizuna gained currency all across Japan after the Great East Japan earthquake. Kizuna literally means ties, but its connotation is much larger and encompasses lasting relationships in communities and bonds amongst the members of society at large. Even today, Kizuna remains a tremendous force for recovery. To protect students from disasters and other dangers, we remain committed to realizing a disaster-resistant, healthy city尾張旭by continuing to promote our new initiatives through cooperation among the administrative bodies, students, and private businesses, and by strengthening Kizuna among communities. Thank you for your kind attention.